Hey guys, and welcome to my first coding tutorial. This is not really a coding tutorial. This is more of kind of like a Mac development tutorial for distribution. So suppose you made a great Mac app, but you do not want to release it in the App Store for whatever reason. Either Apple didn't approve it, or you don't want to pay the Apple tax, which is terrible. I mean, it's like even 15% if you make under $1 million a year, 30% if you make over that. It's ridiculous. You end up losing a lot of valuable money that way. And then, though, the problem is how are you going to deal with the auto updates? Because that is something that the Mac App Store handles automatically. And as you can see, I made this app, MacBard, which didn't get approved for the App Store because it has the name Mac in it, and Bard, which is a trademark. This is just a line for Google Bard if you want to see it here. Web native. I'll put a link to this app in the description if you're interested. But this is an app that I created last week, and I had to figure out the auto updates, of course, because I wasn't able to do the App Store. So how it works in my app is check for updates. I'll check for updates, and then I'll fetch the latest version. It'll show me that I'm on the latest version, so we'll be all good. And the user won't have to re-download it for every single version that's updated. But how do we get this view? How do we get this to do it? So this is what this tutorial is going to show you today. So first thing, we're going to use these two articles to help us. These two articles on Medium. These are like detailed tutorial articles, but they do miss something, and you kind of need to use elements of both articles, at least for me to be successful with it. So this video is going to show you a step-by-step guide for how to be successful with the Sparkle Updater, which is the package that we'll use. Basically, if you've never done it before, and if you're a complete newbie to this, step by step, I'm going to be showing you this. I think this will be the first tutorial on YouTube that actually shows this Sparkle thing. So I'm actually excited to show you how this works. So first we go to GitHub, and we go to repositories, and we're going to create a new repository. We're going to call it Sparkle Update Test. In the real world, you would really name it like whatever app you are doing or whatever, like the name of your app, and because you already have the code and everything for app. But this would not be to host the code. This would be just to host the releases. If you're having a separate private repo that you're sharing for the code, do not use that private repo for this, because you need a public repo for this. And if your app is closed source, there's no need to share your code or anything. Your app will still be closed source. This is really just to house the releases. They're going to do Sparkle Update Test for our demo version. We're going to add a README file, and we're going to create the repository. So now once this repository is created, we're going to go to Settings, and we're going to go to Pages. We're going to select here for branch, main, and root. So we're going to save it now and wait for our GitHub Pages site to be built. Okay, so it's been around a minute and our GitHub Pages site has been built. So we don't need to visit the site. Let's just copy the URL for now. And next we're going to do the next step, which is to open Xcode and create a new project. And we're going to call it, so we're going to do macOS app, and we're going to call it Sparkle Update Test. And SwiftUI, and we're going to create. So this tutorial again will be to show you how to do this with SwiftUI app for the most part. So now that we have our Xcode project set up, I like to maximize the Xcode window. You're going to go to File, Add Package Dependencies, and if you've already used Sparkle before, it will show up in your recently used. Otherwise, you just do the URLs github.com/sparkleproject/sparkle. So we're going to add the package, add package. And again, I'm going to put this Sparkle package link in the description of the video, so this will be easy, so you won't need to find it online. So now that we've got this done, first step that we're going to do is we're going to right click on Sparkle and we're going to show in Finder. So we're going to go to, so make sure you have show path bar enabled. So it's under view, and if you don't have it enabled, it would say show path bar. If you do have it enabled, say hide path bar. So show path bar or Option Command P if you don't have that enabled already. So you can go to Source Packages, Artifacts, Sparkle, Bin, and the first step we're gonna do is generate keys. So now we have the key right here. This will be our SU public ed key, and we're gonna need this for our info plist, which we're next gonna do. So the next step is we're gonna go to the app icon at the top, basically the App Store icon or whatever that is at the top, which says Sparkle Update Test, top thing, info, and we're going to add a few keys to our plist. And we're going to copy them from the article. So from this first article, so it's SU enable install launch service. That's the first one. It's a Boolean, and it'll be yes. So yes, we are gonna enable that. Next thing, SU enable downloader service. It's also a Boolean. So we're gonna enable that. Yes. Next thing is SU feed URL. So this would be the URL of our GitHub repository. This is string again, the one that we just copied before. It really helps you have a clipboard manager for this. Paste is my favorite, but like a good free option, they can be like Mackie as well if you prefer that. But I like paste. So anyway, you find the GitHub repository link that we had before. You put it in here, and then you do /appcast.xml. And next thing, the last thing that you would do is SU public ed key. This is also string. And this would be the key that we just generated in terminal. So right here. So now that we have all this set up, next step is with the entitlements file. So what I'm gonna do is we can just copy this here. This will be the quickest way to edit it. Copy it from the article, and then right click on Sparkle Update Test, show in Finder, and then open with text edit. And we're going to just copy and paste these all in. So now that this has been done, we can quit out of this, close the window, and then we can go here, and then you can see we have our array already in our entitlements folder. Easy peasy. So now that we have this done, one more thing that we should do first actually is let's change two things first before doing anything else. So first we need to make sure that we have under sign capabilities, network, incoming connections, server, and outgoing connections client on. This will allow it to access the internet for the updates. So now that we have this, our next step is first, before we do it, let's change the version to 0.9 and 0.9. I just feel like for a demo, this might be a good idea to do that. So, for your real app, you can just keep it at 1.0. This is just to show the actual update in action. So now we're going to go to the other article. We're going to add in some of the necessary UI for this to work. So first, actually, for the content view, let's add the UI for it, because this one will actually tell you the version number, which I think will be helpful. So you can see when it says the preview updates 0.9. So this is version 0.9 right now. So next step we're going to need to create a new Swift file. And we're going to call it check for update. So this file we're going to use from the other article. We're going to start by importing SwiftUI and Sparkle. That's the first thing that we'll do. So next we'll create a check for updates view model, which is an observable object. And we can just copy this from the code, from the article as well. And then we copy the check for updates view. So this will be basically, it'll show like how it would work in the menu bar and stuff with this. So then to our main app file, we're going to add at the top private let updater controller equals SPU standard updater controller, and init updater controller equals SPU standard updater controller. So we're going to copy all this code in from the article. Again, I'm going to link the articles here so you can copy the code from the article to start with, at least. And then below here, under content view, we're going to do check for, we're going to do commands, command group, after info, and check for updates view. So this thing, just copy this in. And we have an error here, we forgot to import Sparkle. So remember, we would import Sparkle at the top whenever we reference any of Sparkle's modules. So this should get away with the errors. And then there's one more error with the curly brackets. We fix that. So now that we've done this, our next step is to actually to archive and notarize the app. So we're going to archive and notarize the app. So remember, you're going to need a paid developer account for this. This will not work if you do not have a paid developer account. And for that, at least in the US, it'll be over 18. If you're under 18, you could use a parent's name or something like that. But since I just turned 18 last month, it's actually perfect. I can do it all in my own name. But it shouldn't matter too much for distributing outside the App Store because they could basically, on like Gumroad or wherever, you could put whatever name you want. But anyway, assuming it's not an issue, and you have a paid developer account, direct distribution, distribute. And here you're going to see it's going to upload to Apple Notary Service. And then once it's done, you're get a notification that it's been notarized and we can move to the next step. All right, so it's been a little bit under a minute and the app has been notarized. So we can export it, and let's create a new folder, and let's call it Sparkle Update Test 0.9. So the next step after we've done this is we're going to create a DMG. So as you can see, this article here will recommend that we use a terminal command, but I'm not going to show you this because I have not had a lot of success with this command, and I feel like it could definitely be easier if done with an app that's a GUI. So here's an app that I found called DMG Canvas. We can do basically the same thing, notarization all included. So first of all, let's make sure that Gatekeeper will code sign and notarize it. You have to enable both things. You have to make sure that your signed certificate and Apple ID are already in here. If they're not in here, you might need to like create with a keychain access or whatever. I'm not going to explain that in this video, but if you need help, I guess, comment and I'll see what I can do. So now that we have those permissions enabled, let's, for the contents now, we're going to add files, add Sparkle update test. And let's just for fun, we really don't need to stylize a DMG for this example. And then add applications folder. So we have this DMG now. This is basically like this template for it. And I recommend DMG canvas because it makes it very easy, much easier than like a terminal command. And it costs $25 if you want to remove the watermark. If you don't want to remove for like these like testing examples, it's free. But like again, if you're actually using these published apps, I highly recommend you pay the $25. You won't see purchase DMG canvas to remove the watermark. It's like that's ridiculous when you're actually distributing an app. But anyway, so once this is done, we are going to build the app. We are going to, let's call it, or the DMG, or rather we're going to export DMG. We're going to call it, so we're going to save it as Sparkle Update Test.dmg. And the volume name will be Sparkle Update Test Installer. Save. So it's going to build the DMG right here. You can see it's going to do this. It's going to notarize everything and stuff. So we're going to be good with that. It's code signing, notarizing. See, it's running terminal commands in the background. You can see. I think I'm going to pause and then return back. Okay, so now that we've been notarized, the build has been succeeded. We've gotten a success message down here. We're going to go to Finder, and we see our newly created DMG file. So next step that we're going to do, back to Xcode. We're going to right-click on Sparkle again, show in Finder, and make sure path bar is enabled. Source packages, and we've already had this from a previous thing. Generate appcast. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to copy the path name of generate appcast, which is option copy. And then here. So we're going to quit terminal for here because we don't need that command anymore. So we're going to copy the path name of this, and then we're going to copy the path name of the archive folder for our version of the app. So Sparkle Update 0.9. So we're going to copy that path name as well. Same thing, option copy. And then we have it. So we're now going to return. It's going to generate the appcast XML file for this. So now what we're going to do is we're going to update our DMG to GitHub. So I'm going to go back to code, and we're going to go to create a new release. Let's do release v0.9. Let's do and tag prod. So the tag will be prod. The first release will be v0.9. And then we're going to upload Sparkle Update Test.dmg for it. So update, and we're going to publish the release. So the next thing that we need to do is we're going to right-click on this link on Sparkle Update Test.dmg, and we're going to select Copy Link. Once we do that, we see the link is copied in our clipboard. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to appcast.xml, the one that we just created, and we're going to click on it, and we're going to replace the link that it had before with this new link. So now that we have this link, this will basically tell it where to go to fetch the updates, essentially. So that when a new update comes in, it'll go to this link, and then we'll tell it, and then it'll be able to fetch directly from there. So now we have this, and now we can commit this to the GitHub. So we're going to, I'll just like drag into Yoink, which is another Mac app I love for dragging and dropping things. You don't need to use Yoink for this, but it helps for me at least. Just keep it organized like a shelf and stuff with this. So we're going to add file. We're going to upload files. We're going to drag and drop appcast XML into here. So we're going to commit changes. And now we should see that when we open our app, maybe like give it like a minute or two, we're going to, let's now copy this app to our applications folder so you can test if the updating feature works. So I'm going to copy this app to our applications folder. Actually, you know what, a better idea. Let's use a DMG installer like an actual user would. We're going to do it, and we're going to formally drag into our applications folder. So now it's in our applications folder. We're to Sparkle Update Test. You can see, we see the app should be there. So I can see update error. The reason why this happened is because it needs some time for the GitHub pages to refresh with this. So now it says here, you're up to date. It's a success message. We've coded the first part of this. So for the most part, we should be good now, but I don't want to finish off the tutorial now because I want to show you how updating will work in the future. So let's go back to Xcode and let's try pushing out an update. So we're going to change the version number to 1.1. I'll say instead of 1.0, let's do 1.1 actually. Kind of cool. Like 0.9 to 1.1. It's actually kind of cool, but the real probably like 1.0 to 1.1. But anyway, we're going to do this. We're going to, let's just enter it and stuff. We're going to archive version 1.1, distribute, direct distribution. Again, remember you have to pay developer account for this whole thing to work. This whole thing will not work if you don't have a pay developer account. So distribute. It's uploading to the notary service. Okay, so it's been notarized. We're going to export it, and we're going to create a new folder in the documents folder. And we're going to do it Sparkle Update Test 1.1. That's what I'm going to call it. Create, export, close. And we're going to go to DMG canvas again. So we're going to find the DMG that we had before, or create a new one, doesn't really matter. And we're going to delete this previous app file right here. And we're going to replace it with the Sparkle Update Test 1.1. Which will be right here. So we're going to replace it with this app. Hey, that's not an alias, actually. I made a mistake. So I just should show you the incorrect way of doing it. You do plus, add files, and then Sparkle Update Test 1.1, Sparkle Update Test. Open. Let's just format it nicely. And we're going to now build and finalize. It'll be right inside here. Sparkle Update Test 1.1 is going to be in this folder. And let's actually rename it something maybe a bit more fitting, like Sparkle Update Test Installer. All right, so now that the build was successful, we can quit this. Let's go to Show and Finder actually instead. We have our DMG. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to Xcode, Show and Finder, and we're going to do this appcast command again for this new folder. So source packages, generate appcast, right click on it, option, copy, back to terminal. We're going to copy the path for the generate appcast command. Then we're going to copy the path for the Sparkle Update Test 1.1 folder. Return. It's going to write a new appcast XML for this version. So now that we've done that, we're going to go back to GitHub, click on releases. We're going to edit the v0.9. And we're going to replace it with v1.1. So v1.1. We're going to delete the current DMG, and we're going to upload the new DMG, which will be Sparkle Update Test 1.1. So this DMG that we created right here. Update release. Right click, copy link. And then we're going to open the appcast.xml. And we're going to, in here, like we did before, we're going to paste the new link. So right here, once this has been done, we're going to do what we did before. We're going to, let's make sure it's correct. We can do a quick look right here. It's the correct one. We're going to add file, upload files, drag the file in, and then commit changes. So now I can see, just to do a test run to see if it works, we're going to have the update published. So it might take a minute. So you can see right here, newest version available. It says it's going to take, let's say maybe like a minute. I'm going to pause it until it's done. So now we can click on the app again and do a check for updates. And we can see the update that we just created is officially available. So the user could select whether they want to automatically download and install updates in the future, and then we could just install it right here. Installing, you can see right here, it's fetching from the GitHub repository. It's going to extract it, and then it's going to ask you to install and relaunch. So install and relaunch, and we're on version 1.1. So this is how you handle auto update of any app they're going to distribute outside the Mac App Store. I highly recommend this if you're distributing outside the App Store, because of course you wouldn't want users to re-download and stuff after. And also, the App Store is not the best place to distribute certain kinds of apps. Like, for example, I was making an AI client app with Bard, and you see all the AI client apps right here on the App Store. Hold on, just since the App Store works on response as well. It's actually another reason to do this, and I'm not making this up. This is literally just happening. It's not rehearsed or anything. Oh my gosh, I just force quit the App Store. Anyway, so let's just say AI. And you can see there are tons of spammy AI chat apps here, which are ridiculous, with in-app purchases that don't even use the new ChatGPT client and are kind of like clones of it. So the App Store is kind of a real, it's really not the best place to find the best quality Mac apps anymore. A lot of the best quality Mac apps are outside the App Store because, again, the Apple tax and other things. So I'm suggesting if you want to avoid the Apple tax, I'm going to make a great Mac app. And if you want to distribute on Gumroad and stuff, definitely follow my guide. Definitely enable Sparkle for the auto update. It will make a world of difference with your app, and you'll be able to attract a new demographic of people who would rather buy the app directly from you instead of having to deal with the App Store, and you don't pay the Apple tax anymore. You still get auto update and still all the great benefits of having a Mac app that updates automatically. So hopefully you enjoyed my tutorial. I look forward to potentially creating new tutorials like this in the future. I feel like most of my content, in the future, I'm still going to try to focus on those educational songs I made for AP Calc. Because I feel like as a high school student right now, that is something that I'm kind of more feel like I can maybe it's easier to explain in a video. And again, 30 minutes is an awfully long video. So I feel like if I have good tutorials for coding and stuff, I will put them up though, because I am definitely into macOS development now, especially after I made that MacBard app. But I'll see how it goes. If you're interested in downloading MacBard, I'll post a link to my Gumroad as well, so you can see Gumroad. I'll just show you right now, actually. Let's see. MacBard. I'm just trying to find the actual one. So right here, you can see this is the app. You have all the splash screen stuff. You can download it here. And these are some of the few features that we have, some of the features that we're working on. I can put this link here if you want to see a demo of it. Here, let's just show you that it works in the web view. It's in this case, it didn't actually start coding first, but it does work as a web view, Bard, and native view. So you can see right here, it actually code it. This is just a quick demo of my app. And, of course, a demo for how the Sparkle auto update feature works. So, hopefully you enjoyed my tutorial, and thank you for watching.